I understand you are still predicting a V-shaped recovery, but many economists have put out more dire forecasts. In fact, some are looking at a fiscal year contraction of around 10%. What is your message to those? What do you see that perhaps they're missing?
Nancy, first of all, this is an exogenous shock. If since 1870, for the first time, the largest fraction of countries are going to see a decline in per capita GDP. So once in a 150 countries, 150 years event. In terms of the forward outlook, if you look at some of the data, the core sector output, which had shrunk by about 38% in the month of April, that decline now is 9.6% in the month of July, and it's progressively improved. If you look at e-way bills, which is actually a good predictor of trade within the country, it's almost at the same level as it was last year. Similarly, power consumption, freight as well are very similar levels to last year. So clearly, compared to April when there was a total lockdown and May, the indicators have really improved and improved progressively in a linear manner, which is what makes me look at the data and interpret that the worst is over.
Okay, when you talk about the lockdowns being lifted, that certainly is good news, but the case count is still high, in fact, hitting records on a daily basis. And I wonder to what extent that weighs on consumer sentiment at a time when consumer spending dropped in the quarter in the neighborhood of 30%. How long will it take for that crucial element to the overall economy to recover?
Firstly, Nancy, it's important to keep in mind that this decline in consumer spending happened because of the total lockdown and the severe restrictions on economic activity. While there are now local lockdowns, the consumption spending therefore will not be as adversely impacted. And I think in terms of the numbers, it's really important to keep in mind the scale of India, population, and the population density as well. Given all those, I think we are doing fine on the pandemic as well. And given that now we are in the unlock phase, the consumption should definitely improve. And as I've said, the worst is over.
Mr. Subramanian, this is Christine here. Can you give us your insights as to what the government in the country is doing to bring the COVID situation under control in India?
So, Christine, the government announced a lockdown, which was very important. It was an intensive lockdown, given the differences in India and other advanced economies. And that has really helped in keeping it in control. There are a lot of academic studies which show that but for the lockdown, the situation would have been far, far worse. That's step number one. Step number two, the government had come up with a package, 10% of GDP together, in synchronicity with the central bank, of credit, liquidity, and fiscal measures combined. Yesterday, the central bank has come up with another set of measures. The government is also, looking at giving periodic doses. We do recognize that the fight against COVID may not just be a few months, and therefore we're actually coming up with calibrated response and will continue to do so.